Hello, everybody. Hi, anybody who's watching this video, welcome. I wanted to give you some ideas of different types of lesson material that I use in my classes. So I'm actually going to share my screen and go through um, as in as in depth as I can in a short amount of time as I can, the different types of lesson material. So let's get moving and get right into the first one. Let's have a look here. So this type of lesson material, I'll show you a couple examples of it. So this one's called Leading in a Crisis. There's always a warm-up section, usually a couple of questions. And then we do this in pairs or in a group class, obviously, or if I do one-on-one, I'll do it with the student directly. So this will be learning vocabulary, developing vocabulary. And there's more here. So it actually says vocabulary. So here it's about the definitions. Everybody's done these kinds of exercises. Obviously within this theme, work in pairs, look at the sentences and put them in and then choose the right form. So this is a little bit of grammar. And also, the nice thing about this kind of exercise is it warms you up. It prepares you for what you're going to listen to later. So yeah, you can see here, you may have to make sure that you choose the right word. Okay, then prefixes. Prefixes are really important in English, and suffixes. Suffixes come at the end, prefixes come at the beginning because pre means before. So you can see there, this is, and then the word will be here. So one of these will go in here and then create a word. So this is great. It also builds up your vocabulary in context. These sentences are really natural, very normal, natural native speaker sentences. I don't know if you remember when you were learning from textbooks when you were younger, that textbook language is not really what we speak on a day-to-day basis. Whereas this, I find this lesson material that I'm using is very natural, and that's one of the reasons why I use it. Then there's a discussion, so it would be some speaking. So complete the sentence first from here, from A, and then answer the questions and discuss the questions. So some speaking. And then usually with this lesson material type, there's always a TED talk that goes with the material. The talks are not long, usually around about 5 minutes. And then there's always something connected to it. So in this case, it's watching for details and just choosing one. So multiple choice, which is great always. Oh yeah, we don't usually do this, the writing part. And then here is the transcript of the actual TED Talk. So you can come and have a look at it and check any vocab that you don't know. And also if the TED Talk is too fast, you can actually read this first. And for those of you who want to do some shadowing, you can shadow the speaker using the transcript, which will just take your speaking to the next level as well. So that's about that. I've got some leading in a crisis. I think these are here. I've got some phrases that I will share with you as well. So generally in a lesson, while the students are doing the material, if I can think of anything that is relevant or would it be helpful for their answers, then if we're doing an online class, then I write it down in the chat. If I'm doing an in-person class, I try and make quick notes and then I put it up on the board later. It's much easier for me in a Zoom class because I can type fast. When I'm in a classroom, I can't write as fast, and so I might miss a couple. But anyway, I write them down as much as I can. So in this one, there were only 2 sentences and then more actual words. This is from another topic. We did 2 topics together in this particular case. So that's that. There is another one here called Economic Bubbles from the same lesson material, lesson type. So again, you can see warm up, and it's just choosing, and then it's discussing, giving your opinion, and here choose the correct vocab to describe upward and downward trends. So that's learning the vocab for trends, which is really useful. This is useful for office workers, and anybody doing probably an IELTS test would benefit from this particular material. So there you go, and you would have to choose those as well. So you would have to choose here and choose there. Understanding the vocab, so you're going to be forming collocations by matching column A to column B, and then you get a collocation. Collocations and phrases are what you should be learning. Any student, usually 90% of the students that come to me, they have enough vocabulary. What they now need are collocations and phrases, and then taking those collocations and writing them next to the definitions, and then putting those collocations into here to make sure that you've understood them. So, which is great. And then answering these questions. It says that now answer the questions. And then introducing a topic, look at the sentences, number them in order. You've all done these kinds of exercises. Here's the video, and this will give you the answer as to what the order is. And then again, watching the video again to answer these particular questions. So nice that it's multiple choice, which is great. Yeah, nothing there. And then lots of questions for discussion, which is nice. Here is an idiomatic expression, which is really nice. And then some additional questions. It depends on the class. Maybe we've got time for this, maybe we haven't. And then the transcript. So again, if you find this is an Indian person, so if you find that they speak in a way that you don't understand, the accent's too heavy, you can come here and have a look at the transcript, and then try and read the transcript and listen at the same time. And again, you could shadow if you wanted to. So there's that. I think I also have, here's my phrases. So again, you know, every class is different. I put it there. Here, this particular class that I did it with, one of the students was dealing a lot with Indian people and found it very difficult to understand their accent. So I came up with these 3 here of radio stations in English by Indians, so that this person could become familiar with the Indian accent. And these are just words and phrases that came up during the class. I will always send this to students after the lesson. Then we landed about talking about online platforms for shopping. So sometimes the conversation will go a little bit, where is my thing here? No, here. And the last one here, I need to, let me just go here again. For some reason, it didn't want to share. Okay, so this is the last example of this type of lesson material. You can see it has the same layout. There's a warm-up section. You have to choose something, so pretty easy, and then straight into a YouTube video. But not long. It's 1 minute 31 to talk about these. So you're basically taking notes, and then you're watching the next part and filling the table in with the information. So great for listening, absolutely fantastic. And then the next 2 parts for another minute and a half, you have to answer these questions here. So also pretty cool. And then vocabulary. So match the words from the transcript in bold with these meanings. So here's the transcript at the bottom, and here are the words in bold. You can see there: counterintuitive, pronounced, paralysis, conviction, etc. So you'd have to work those out here because these are the definitions. So it's all about vocab building and speaking, some discussion as well. All right. So there you go. And again, you can definitely do some shadowing or check out the vocabulary here. You can see here, the way they've done it here, you don't know that this is 3 syllables. It doesn't tell you that. But this part here is where the stress is. So canvas, criteria. So they've given you that. Implications. So they've given you that, which is really, really nice. Discard. That's very helpful. Okay, so that is one type of lesson material. And I have another 2 types to go through with you. Okay, so here is the next set of lesson material. You can see it's slightly different. Again, sort of like a warm-up, and then some phrases and words that you need to put in here. And at the same, so you got here 100% sure, almost sure, don't know. So this is frequency and not frequency, degree. And these words, we use these words a tremendous amount. So you'd put them in here and you'd get an idea of their meaning. So that's pretty cool. And here, discuss how likely the predictions are. So we do talk about predictions and the likelihood of something happening. So this would be useful. If you're doing a test, you would need to predict something. If you are working in an office, somebody wants to know your thoughts about something in the future. So again, you would need to be predicting something in the future and giving your thoughts about that. There's a YouTube video to watch, again, not very long. So you just click on here or you copy and paste that and you'll get the link. And so you've got to go through here, match their meaning. So there's that and there's that. So it's pretty quick. And then answer these questions as you're watching. So again, you're getting listening as well. One of these interviews in the rodeo said the following, and then you have to comment on what somebody said. So give your opinions on what somebody said. So always very useful exercise, because people will always want to know your opinion and you need to express it. Complete the gaps to create synonyms for the word predict. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There would be more, but 5 synonyms that mean the same. That's what a synonym is. Predict. So now you would learn some vocabulary. Use those words to create predictions about the future of space. So you'd write down a couple of sentences. And that's the future of space. I think I've got some phrases on that one as well. The future of space. No, not this one. I think it's this one here. Let's have a look. This is what we've just done. So it must be here, this one here. Okay, so here you go. Here a whole bunch of words and phrases that have come up in a lesson. So this is about pronunciation. I've helped students with the pronunciation, given them some sentence starters and some phrases and giving reasons. I actually should take those people's names off, shouldn't I? Okay, so we're gonna, maybe not. All right, I should actually take those people's names off before I show it to you. So basically, you can see I've written down a whole bunch of stuff there. I would do that if I was passing it on to somebody else. All right, here's another example of the same kind of lesson material. So discuss these topics, so the speaking, fill in the gaps with these words provided. Choose a topic, tell your partner about some details of it, so extended speaking. Now, if you were doing a test, you need to do some extended speaking. And if you were in an office environment or if you were in a meeting, you need to do extended speaking. So this material is suitable for both people who want to use it for work and for people who want to prepare for a test, and for anybody who just wants to speak English, because even if you're not doing it in an office, in a work environment, if you're talking to somebody and you're making friends with somebody in English, you need to speak for an extended period of time. So basically, it's just English is English, right? We won't do this section. Okay. Finish these sentences. So these would be personal to you. Then watch the video about motivation and discuss these questions, extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Give your opinions, blah, blah, blah. Use these words to create questions. So we use a lot of questions in English, and I think for non-native English speakers, it can be quite challenging sometimes. So this is a great exercise. And again, these are incredibly simple sentences, but very normal, very natural. We use them all the time. Oh, there are quite a few here. And then choose some. Well, I just like, we're going to answer all of them because I want to give students as much speaking practice time as possible. So there you go. So that's that one. Stay interested, stay motivated. Communication is not that easy. You can see the pattern forming here. So these have got to go into here. Sentences with the correct form of the verb. So it comes from here. I want to move a little bit quicker so that we can get the other one done, and this is not a long video. Watch this video and choose this. So this is to make sure that you understand what you are listening to. These are the rules of communication, good communication. Would come from the video. Watch the second part of the video and check your answers. So this is this part here. And then discuss what you heard and what discuss these, and then more discussion here. And of course, phrases are my absolute favorite. I think, you will truly quickly improve your speaking if you learn phrases. So put these in the right category. So that's basically, do you understand how to ask for something? So if you didn't hear something, if you want someone to clarify what they said, you want someone to explain or clarify. If you want to explain or clarify something that you've already said, you want to check if you understood what somebody has just said. So these are fabulous, absolutely fantastic. I get so excited about those. What would you say in these situations? So you would use those phrases that we've just done in the previous exercise, stick them in here. And so then this becomes a conversation that you can, some parts of it that you might want to memorize. All right, and then trees. I think this is, yeah, this is just another one. So vocabulary, discussing, watch the video, choose what you heard. So this actually, because this is about trees in cities, there's something that happened in Manhattan in the 1870s. You could use this information in your small talk if you needed to make some small talk. And you were speaking to somebody from New York. You go, oh, I read, I heard, blah, 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 blah. And they would be impressed by that. Match these here. Discuss these questions. So lots of speaking. Really, I want students to do a lot of speaking as much as possible, making sure you choose the correct word. And then that whole sentence would just be very natural and normal. Rank them and say why. So that's giving your opinion and justifying and saying why. If you were doing a test, you would always need to give your opinion and say why. If you're working in an office, you need to express your opinion and they want to know why you think like this and not like somebody else. Or you want to justify why your thinking is possibly better than other suggestions. We always want to know why in English. And then sometimes we do this exercise, sometimes we don't. Okay, so that is, oh, I could show you the phrases that came up. I don't know why that came up, but we were talking about something. So yes, some great phrases. We talked about plants. And then this is the night safari in Singapore. Not sure why we talked about this, but there must have been a reason. So yeah, okay. So those are those are examples of the second type of lesson material. And now I'm going to show you not the last, because I have lots of different types of lesson material, but one type of lesson material that I have used a lot in my classes. And when you see it, you will know why. Okay, I can't say that this is the best lesson material. I'm not going to judge and rank any of the lesson material that I'm showing you, but you can see from what I've given you so far that there's a heavy emphasis on vocabulary and also speaking, which it needs to be that way. Now, this next lesson material, the heavy focus is on phrases, some vocabulary, and especially speaking. So let's share my screen. Oh, and I also do shadowing with this type of material. Okay, so here's the topic. It's called shrinkflation. What I've done is I've taken a news article and then I highlight the phrases that I think are good. And this one is, because this one is actually two phrases, is taking hold. You can say that as a phrase, and then you can put this as well. So this becomes an entire phrase. But this is also a phrase by itself, across the world. Doesn't have to come with this one. So therefore, what I have done is I have made that bold and underlined that. This is a great way to start a sentence. Here's another one. I've highlighted this so that you know that the preposition is in that process. Another tactic being used is providing something. So is in effect a cost-cutting strategy. So you can see I've highlighted all of these. Now these can be used in speaking, they can be used in writing. And you know, once you do a few lessons, you collect these, and when you are writing, you can go back and have a look, and you can literally cut and paste and put in your writing or into your reports, or if you're doing a presentation, you really should be writing out your script, what you're going to say beforehand, and then you could come here and use these. So they're useful for speaking and writing, as I say. So that's how it is there. Then usually what we do is, this is speaking. So do you support student A or do you support student B? And you would say why. And then you'd fill this in and you'd answer these questions. So that you can see you don't have to write long things. You just make keyword notes. And then this is speaking. So you're giving your opinion, and then you share them in class. Here it's about developing vocabulary. So at home, you would write down all the words that you associate with inflation using a dictionary. And then in class, you share the words with your partner. Shrinkage, same thing. You decide at home, you put these in an order, you rank them in an order, and you give some kind of a reason as to why, especially for the first four, the top four. You can have a reason for that. And then you'd be sharing that with your classmates. And again here, you would also be looking for collocations, other meanings, information, synonyms. So you do some search online or in a dictionary, a physical dictionary, and come up with things. I've just given a couple of lines here, but you can come up with as many as you like. You want as much information around this topic as possible. And then this is where we get into lots and lots of discussion. So student A, 10 questions, student B, 10 questions. I don't do this very often, but if I think the question needs some explanation, I'll write a little bit of extra here. This one I decided it needed something. Feel duped by, just so that you know what that means. So at home, in preparation, you would make keyword notes at least to these questions, so that you can share and discuss with your partners in class, whether that's an online class or an in-person class, for both of them. Then at home, for homework for yourself, you would be doing this to increase your vocabulary. And this, again, is my favorite. These are words from the article, and these are the meanings of these words in this context. So you would find that sometimes there will be other synonyms, but in this context, these are the words that mean the same. Synonyms are really useful. And then again, my other part that I really, really encourage students to do is the phrase match. These are phrases from the actual article, and then you have to match them. So you've got 10 phrases here. You've got all the phrases that I have created, that I have done here. Some of them will overlap. Some of them won't, obviously. And you can learn those. So if we did a class of all of this lesson material, you would be doing one of these a week, and you would have 10 synonyms, and you would have 10 phrases at least, if not more, because you've got some in the article itself. So if we did just this lesson material for every single lesson, then you would be getting 10 of each times 8 weeks, which is usually what my classes are. Sometimes they're 3 months, 12 weeks, but generally speaking, there are 8 weeks. So you'd be getting 80 phrases and 80 synonyms. And generally speaking, you're going to remember 50% of that. So by the end of the course, you've learned an extra 40 phrases and 40 vocabulary words. Okay, and they're connected to words that you already know. So that will really boost your vocabulary, and by learning the phrases, you really do improve your grammar, because this is it. And it doesn't matter what the topic is, because you can change the subject, the noun, and then the phrase will fit into whatever your topic is. So really, really useful. Then this is optional homework. And obviously, you know, the more homework you do, the more preparation you do, the more you're going to improve. So, but I put this here for you to do yourself. And it's basically the article again. And you need to make sure that you choose the correct word. So, is taking hold. You wouldn't be saying is taking holding. But just to check that you do get that, you can go through this one and you can check it. So you can check it by yourself. There's the answers are given there. So this is shrinkflation. Let's go and have a look at the phrases for shrinkflation. Yeah, I don't know why we were talking about lunchbox. I can't have it all. Short-sighted option. And then these were the words that came up. Remember, there was that section. So these are words that came up there. I do actually have another one. I think there it is. I have another phrases document. So I will do a different phrases document for each class. And then sometimes I will combine them as well. So here you can see there's some here. Shrink, there was some there. This class might have been a higher level class, who knows? And that's why there's maybe more phrases. And you can see this. So here, this is my way of helping students with pronunciation. So inflate, and I've put that in capital letters so that you know that that's where the stress is. And I've given an explanation. Long A sound like bay, and then shun. Inflation. Something seems inevitable. Okay, so there's that. And also then we do the shadowing. So what I do with the shadowing is we will, I need to go back here. I will record this and send you the MP3, and then you would record on top of me. So you would speak at the same time as me and record the two of us speaking so that both you and I can hear the difference. And hopefully there's not too much difference. Shadowing is basically you should be quite close to me and you would follow my pace, my rhythm, my intonation, and my word stress. So I'll give you another example. These are the phrases. So basically you get an idea of what's going on with the phrases. You know, here that's a preposition, that's why it's in capital letters. Just to help students make sure that they know it's 2 syllables. We must hear the T at the end of without. Yeah, okay, so you get those. So this topic is brain. These are the phrases. There's more phrases here. Okay, fine. You don't need to do those. Brains don't slow down until after 60. So again, you can see how I have highlighted everything. You can see here, agree with student A, student B, write this out. Everything that you associate with decline, ranking those, improving, looking for collocations, etc. for these 2 words. And then we get into answering these questions. And then you do this at home. There's your synonyms. There's your phrase match. This one's got true and false in it. This one's got a closed gap. So you can go through that and you can choose them from here. And doing these, circle the pairs and here the answers. Okay. So that's brains don't slow down. I'll show you another one. Ultra processed food linked to cancer. So you can see again what it's like. You get the idea, right? It's exactly the same. And you just prepare your notes and then off you go like that. And so there you go. So those are 3 different types of lesson materials. Sometimes what I will do is I'll have a class of just one type. Sometimes I will mix and match. Sometimes I'll do 50% of one and 50% of the other. And it all depends on the students and what the students need and want. And sometimes I'll start with one and then I'll go, no, I can see that this is not going to work. We need to mix and match. Or sometimes the students will say, yes, we want to mix and match. And then when we do that for a couple of lessons, they go, no, we prefer this type of lesson material, one specific one. So it's very flexible as to what we use and what we do. And of course, there are loads and loads of different types of topics within each type of lesson material. But the focus is speaking, building vocabulary, and some phrases, and depending on which lesson material do with this last one, then you get the shadowing practice too. The last one, I can just show you again. If you're doing this last one, the questions, these 20 questions, really do require some critical thinking, which is really important in any, for use in any situation in English, especially for exam preparation. If you're doing an exam, test, IELTS, TOEFL, those kinds of things, those tests. But if you're working, you do need to discuss and you do need to give your opinion. And these questions, the great thing about these questions is that they help you to organize your thinking. So that's also good. The other ones do too, but these definitely do. Okay, so I tried to speak as quickly as I could, but not too quickly so that you could actually understand me. I hope that's helped. If you have any questions about the lesson material, just pop me an email, or as you can see on the slide behind me, that's my line ID. You can contact me online, or you can contact me by email. Okay, look forward to speaking to you and answering any questions that you have. Okay, take care. Bye.